Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons Ritual. It's February 21st, and I'm jumping back on. Yesterday, I made a video and I need to make a little correction. I was talking about Pisces season, which we are now in, and I said the eclipses don't start till after Pisces season, and I was wrong. Our first eclipse will be March 13th or March 14th, depending on where you are, and that will still be during Pisces season. So we do have a jam-packed Pisces season. Um, my video yesterday was about the end of mind control. And sure enough, last night when I was looking at the news, I saw a town hall in Georgia where everybody came out and was calling BS on their senator, I think he was. And he was talking about, well, AI, I think he was trying to say could duplicate, but he didn't say that. He said the wrong word. Could do these things, and they were calling complete BS on him. They were saying, why are you guys doing this so sloppily? Because they were talking about like people, honestly, all people, and well, no, I'm not gonna make a blanket statement. Honestly, I think most people want an efficient running government. I do think people, don't want fraudulent spending. That kind of goes across the board. Um, and that's what they were calling out. Like, why are you firing all these people? You're like, what you're doing is very sloppy. And he tried to use some talking points, if you will, and they shut his ass down. So, again, this is a good sign, you guys. We can't sit around being super scared on our computers, um, waiting for people to tell us what's going on. This is the time for us to start getting our voices back, to start showing up. Those people showed up and they made it very clear how they felt about what was going on. And that is our universal right as Americans. And let's keep it up, you guys. And please be clear. Yes, I do lean left. I do lean Democratic. At the same time, bad policy is bad policy. If my senator or whoever I voted for isn't doing a good job, I'm going to call him out on it because that is my right. Okay. That's like, it's your right. I don't know. I don't know why they were spinning this. I mean, they were spinning this narrative that everyone was just going to go along. And quite honestly, the way people were voting for things in the Senate, and it does like they were just lockstep. But now you guys, you could see the lines are starting to crack. And again, going back to the astrology of this, Mars is getting ready to turn direct on the 23rd. So we are in this energy. Mars is starting to station, slow down and station. And when these planets station, either retrograde or direct, it takes a lot of energy. So the energy is building. We have to remember he is in Cancer, and Cancer is the divine feminine. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and today the moon is talking to everyone. I looked at it, just talking to everyone. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. I mean, she's having quite the conversation with everyone. And she's telling him, get ready. Mars is going to turn direct. It's not going to be the same Mars that it used to be. Mars, I always see now as a spiritual warrior. Mars knows accountability. Will we see that immediately across the board? No, because I've been saying this since 2019. Um, but it is that idea of that patriarchal norm being turned on its head. Again, Venus is in Aries, she's in a good spot. She's at 9 degrees of Aries. She's far enough away from Neptune, who's at 28 degrees of Pisces, and still far enough away from Chiron. I think he's at 19 degrees. So she's really in knowing who she is. She's feeling good. Aries is the initiation. Aries is that I am presence. And so Venus is in there saying, I know who I am. I know how I work. I know how I intuit. I know how I listen. I know how I receive. And I know how I love. She loves herself, especially in Aries, because Aries is, the first sign of the zodiac. Again, cardinal fire, right? That is our existence. This is who I am. And so she's really starting to remember this about herself. I don't want to say remembering, but she's really starting to uh emanate this energy. She's not scared. She's not going back. Doesn't she doesn't give a shit in the sense that she knows when she is on 10, it's a really beautiful energy. It's a really nurturing energy. It's a really comforting energy. It's a very powerful energy. She knows how to set her boundaries, but when she's emanating that and she's love, right? Venus is love. It is what heals, it is what soothes, it is what switches things. And it is in that idea of the one source. We have unfortunately been taught a lot of things about love that weren't real. It was very toxic. But when we know who we are and we know how we stand and we know how to say no, and we know how to say yes, everything just moves very smoothly. That's when manifestations happen a lot quicker. Um, that's how we see the bigger picture. That's how we get out of ruts. That's how we are allowed to let go, which is very important. That's how we forgive ourselves. And so she's there in that really great space. And once Mars turns direct on the 23rd, all planets will be direct until she stations on March 1st and starts to go back. And then Mercury and Pisces will station retrograde and start to go back. And this is a good thing, you guys, because where we are now, all this land, if you will, or planetary land that Venus has covered, she's going to go back over, right? When she's retrograde, as Mars is going direct, going through Cancer, going through that divine feminine sign into Leo, right? Where, he's fire and he's going to go into Leo, which is fire. And then she's going over everything. Soothing, right? Bringing back that energy, bringing back that conversation. These feminine planets are really good communicators. Um, and they always have been, right? It's this idea of changing that old narrative of females and female planets and them being catty or them being gossipy or them being just out for themselves, right? That patriarchy put those feminine planets in competition, right? Just think of Eris, think of the wedding, the Trojan War, right? To the fairest. So we are rewriting these myths at this time, and we're really showing up with who we are. Um, that divine, ancient mystery wisdom, and all this is happening now, but it's really getting a boost because of all those planets in Pisces, and we are in Pisces season, and Pisces is that mystic, and our North Node is in Pisces now, right? Taking us to the top of Pisces, that higher vibration of Pisces, which is letting go, which is trusting and source, which is trusting in what we can't see, which is understanding the consciousness and how consciousness works and the divine consciousness, right? We could keep going. I don't want your eyes to glaze over. But it's also really important to remember where that south node is, and that is in Virgo, the virgin, the martyr, right? That's what we're leaving. We're leaving behind, always trying to figure everything out, like spinning, like how can I do this for people, right? And going back into that higher virgin energy of being renewed, always being happy, or like always being happy, but always being in that sense of awe and wonder and allowing things to resolve. It can resolve itself. We don't have to have our hands on it all times for it to resolve. That's that beautiful gateway between Pisces and Virgo, right? That like Christ consciousness, and I say that I don't want to alienate people, but that idea of the consciousness of love, that consciousness of healing, the consciousness of heart, that consciousness of we are more than just the old flesh suit, the old meat suit, right? And that has to happen with being able to forgive and to let go and to resolve, right? And being in that virginal energy of always being new, um, reborn, if you wish. Okay, but new. And that's how Pisces and Virgo work together, right? That I love that Virgo the Virgin, right? And the idea when the Virgin Mary realized there was no such thing as sin, she ascended, right? Because that's a man-made concept to keep us and those lower energies of shame, guilt, grief. And that's not how we thrive, right? And it's not to say, sometimes when we feel a little bit of, ooh, that kind of keeps us humble. Um, but at the same time, it's not to tie us to the earth. It's not to tie us to the ground. It is this idea of like, I felt that, or, oh, it kind of kept me in check, but I do forgive myself. I've maybe learned a lesson from it, right? So we can keep going. That's that turning over with Pisces. It is that, um, again, taking yourself off the cross, not being the martyr, right? Which so many women have done, right? And or let's just say that feminine energy has done. There's plenty of men as well, or however you present energy that has held, put themselves as that martyr, and that's what we're moving away from. So big energy changes. It's already coming through, right? Remember, you're sovereign. You don't have to go along with everything. You have your own mind. You know how to speak. You know how to think. This isn't that time to fall in line with everybody. That Pluto in Aquarius is really bringing that back up, and we're just at the beginning of it. So, um, again, get out in your communities. Moon still in Sagittarius. She's having lots of conversations with everybody, which is so beautiful. And one little note too, if you guys want to go see, watch the Bull work a lot, and I really love those guys and gals and whoever else over there. But they did a really beautiful, or a really informative conversation with Andrew Yang, and the way that he talked about AI and the way that he talked about, you know, technology was really refreshing. And, he did run for president a few years ago. And of course, he was probably ahead of his time. I know he was ahead of his time. But now we're in that age of Aquarius, so he's right on time. But the way that he explains AI and how you can work with it and actually, you know, it can help humanity is a really beautiful counterpoint to the way that um, Leon and everybody is pushing AI on us right now. It's a good, it makes my heart happy to see there are people that still have morals and values and say, like, this is here, but we can use it to actually help humanity and not overtake humanity. Not everyone is a greedy um, POS, quite honestly. So I'm going to leave it there with all those words, but get ready for this Mars to turn direct. And let's just pull a card for the weekend. It is the start of Mardi Gras here. We're very excited. I've got so many friends riding in Clio tonight, so this is going to be good. I've got 32 layers to put on, so that's going to be great. And I think I'm going to post some things maybe in the shorts. But I also think I'm going to start posting a lot on Blue Sky. So if you guys want to follow me over there, I believe it's my name. Interesting. And yep. And so I'll put it in the description below. So for the weekend, we've got the devil, spicy, and this Five of Swords. So the way that I'm reading this is whenever I see the devil, I always believe he represents the illusion, and it's not real. So the illusion that we can't break free from what's happening in politics, or the illusion that you can't break free from what's happening in your life. You can see there that these two are chained. And it's this idea of codependency, right? The illusion that in order to fight, like if you stand up and fight, you're going to get humiliated. And that's just not true. The number five is always, um, to me, the number of change and grace. And the other way that I read the number five card of the Five of Swords, because swords is that mental energy, Aquarius, is breaking the matrix, right? And they're just over it and getting out of the old way of being. And we can do that. Don't believe in the illusion. It's just not true. It's not true. And what you seek is what you'll find. And so if you start finding ways to break that illusion, go watch that interview with Andrew Yang on the Bulwark. You'll see how we can break the matrix. Everything's presented a way that they want you to believe is real. Doesn't necessarily mean it's real. It's what we think is real, right? So just remember that we are our own sovereign selves. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Start following me on Blue Sky if you feel like it. Oh, there's my mailman. And stay safe, and I will see you guys soon.